Okay, red dot. Red dot means it's going.
Right.
Okay, that's all going, that's all going. Okay.
We're ready to go?
Yeah, just want to get my thoughts. What am I talking about?
Okay. Yeah, if we have a reasonable idea of the theme?
Oh, no. There's something I wanted to talk about. What was it?
Right.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'll talk about Earthships and, I won't to do it now, but Earthships and why, and this idea of hiding away in the threat of war. And then we'll talk about how, I want to talk about how people need to get a higher perspective of the issues and not get stuck at ground level about, with the media and following the signs of, people get caught in this, what would you call it?
Propaganda.
Propaganda, okay, yeah. Okay, so I'll talk about, I need to get a mic.
All right, yeah, you haven't got a mic.
Shizer.
So that's, right, okay. Oh, right, so you got a
full Monty.
Powerful microphone.
Yeah, I want to test this one out as well.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, why isn't that working? Testing. Oh yeah, not bad.
You're standing on your crucial pieces of equipment there.
Just check the gain. Testing.
Testing.
Okay.
Right.
I'll just go straight in. I won't say good. So I've got an Italian friend, and she was telling me that her relatives during World War II, they came from far north Queensland, and she was telling me during World War II, they knew that the authorities were going to come round to their farm and try and detain the menfolk and ship them away, because obviously Italy was part of an alliance with the Nazis. Okay. So what these people did, because they had such a big farm, they were able to actually hide the menfolk out in the property somewhere. So when it's, no, I haven't seen him, I don't know where he is.
Right.
So they would just go stumm, as they say. Yeah. And I was thinking about that story, and they managed to get through the whole war like this. Okay. They were never found because they were able to use stealth. Yeah. Unless they're prepared to start combing through this property, they would never find these blokes. Anyway, so they managed to survive the entire war without being detained, and basically, didn't have to be conscripted, and they just went on to live happy lives. And for them, World War II was something that was happening in Europe, or wherever, and they were able to, a young man of that time was able to survive that period of time. So it got me thinking about Earthships, and this is in relation to a previous video we did, because I've got this idea that you could build an Earthship now in a rural area of Australia, collect your own water, use your own solar energy, and effectively live off the grid. You'd be invisible. You'd be like the grey man. You'd be able to merge, and you wouldn't be able. You could actually now use you wouldn't necessarily need to use credit card money. You could use different techniques to buy essentials, but basically the Earthship itself would collect the basics. And if I suppose where I'm getting to is the state of the world, Kev, that we're on the precipice possibly of an all-out conflict. Now, there's hotspots in the world, but there are alliances being formed before our eyes. There's borders being changed, and anything could happen where we like a generation. We've got grandchildren who are quite small people at the moment. But when they get bigger, they may be mobilised into a military force. We've both got military backgrounds, and we know what happens in that. You've basically got no say in the matter, isn't it? You literally become fodder in the whatever government of the day, whatever ideas they have for you, you've got no control over. And I suppose that's what I'm getting to. That Earthships and control can go together. But sorry, you talk, Kev, about what
Well, I
my
just got to
opening.
say that to keep in that part, I've been watching a lot of documentaries on YouTube about the war, World War II, and I'm quite interested in what happened at the end of World War II.
Yeah.
Because the Americans were coming in from the south, and the Russians were coming down from the north into Germany. Germany was a defeated nation, and as they got in towards Berlin, and the hardened Russian troops who had seen their colleagues and butchered by Germans, they had no compassion for Germans.
Yeah.
And they were fighting. They found they were. There's pictures of them, like a bombed-out building, and Russian soldiers ordering out Germans, soldiers. The Germans are coming out with their hands above their heads.
Yeah.
And some of them are 10 years old soldiers. Like at the end of the war, most of the men had been killed, and the Nazis were literally having to grab 11, 12-year-old boys.
Stop. I might have a problem here.
Oh, is it not being recorded?
I don't know.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh no, keep going.
Okay. Yeah,
I
so
can edit that bit out. Sorry.
yeah, so what I'm saying here is that there's pictures of these Germans all lined up at the end of they've been collected in Berlin, and they're standing with their hands on their heads in front of jeering Russian soldiers, and you've got 80-year-old men and 12-year-old boys, soldiers, with virtually no military training. They're literally just being forced. So there's no hiding place in a war. And this is the thing. There's no hiding place, certainly like this idea that what you were saying about the Italian family.
Yeah.
Right now, well, first of all, if you had an Earthship up in northern Queensland now, it would probably be underwater because they've got massive record once-in-a-lifetime flooding.
Yeah.
And literally an area as big as Europe is underwater. So I'm not sure how even the Earthship, I mean, it might be watertight, but it would be very difficult to survive where you hold for 100 square kilometres around your Earthship is underwater up to your neck.
Well, you don't have to build it in North Queensland. You can build it anywhere in Australia, and it doesn't have to be in a low-lying area.
Oh, okay.
It
So
can be
you're
elevated.
Yeah, okay, because I'm just thinking,
But the point
what I'm
is-
getting at here is that you can't rely on what worked in the past. Being up north, and they were a long way from Europe, but the Japanese were trying to invade down from New Guinea.
Yeah.
The Japanese would have been coming through their farm.
Well, would they? I mean, they'd probably be following the main road into Cairns, into Townsville. I mean, if you've got a farm out in the middle of the whoops, they don't care. And that's what I'm saying, the beauty of the Earthship is that it's basically lends itself to a rural area.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying build it in the middle of Brisbane.
No, but what I'm saying is that if you look at what happened in Malaya and Indonesia and places like that, the Japanese troops fanned through. They came through the jungle, they didn't go on roads because the roads are being bombed. And in fact, some places they don't have roads in those places anyway, but they're coming through overland.
But a place like Australia is so massive.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is to find a hiding place and get your 5-acre block in the middle of nowhere.
But wouldn't you need to take out Starlink? I mean,
What's
like at the moment, Elon Musk, Starlink has literally a crisscross of satellites covering the whole world, and the resolution now of cameras, you can actually see an ant walking on Ayers Rock.
Yeah.
With the resolution, which is every day it gets better, and AI is involved.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I'm running an invading army, my first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my computer nerd and say, right, feed into the AI. I want to detect any human habitation anywhere within the Australian continent. And then the AI, in conjunction with thousands of satellites with high-resolution cameras, would detect that in seconds and say, oh, hang on, I've identified a structure.
This little dot out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, right,
Let's go and send half a dozen troops and
No, they wouldn't
them
send
out
anything. No, they'd just basically send a drone.
to zap you.
Well, initially they sent a drone.
Yeah.
Because again, this is not now. It'll probably be next year or in 5 years.
Yeah, I'm talking about when our grandkids are like adults.
Oh, yeah. Well, the drones will be literally microscopic, and it's all controlled by AI.
So don't go into the rural areas. Stay in the urban area, like in 1978 in Cambodia, where Pol Pot just came in and just indiscriminately just took everybody, didn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, he took you out to the country. Pol Pot took you out of the city into the country, and
I'm sure there must have been people who successfully managed to bypass that entire Cambodian conflict. Not everybody got killed, did they?
Well, no, a lot of them joined up with it to be the killers.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to decide, first of all, I don't know how you can survive. I mean, quite honestly, I mean...
Well, if you're off the grid and you're not annoying anybody, and you got your own power, and you got your own sewer...
No, you won't, but I mean, again, we can't use Pol Pot because he didn't have technology, he didn't have Elon Musk working for him. In what they used in Cambodia was old-fashioned cultural word of mouth. So there was no such thing. It's not like, I mean, well, if you're using Asian culture, they don't have the individualistic thing that we've had where, like I know a guy, for example, who lives on his own in a flat and works in a sort of technology job where he virtually knows no one because he doesn't go to meetings and he just goes in the basement and wires up all of the servers.
Yeah.
So half the people there wouldn't even know he's there. He then goes home to his own little flat and doesn't interact with anyone.